is.
Oh, and there's things to critique on this show. One thing we didn't talk about is specifically too much is the Mercedes Moné non-debut, which I thought was a misstep because of one line in a Britt Baker promo a couple weeks ago where, they're setting up this mystery partner match, and Britt drops the "I'm the boss" line, like very intentionally towards the camera while saying it, looking towards the camera while saying it. And it's obvious that like this is a hint towards something. And given how AEW has done this style of debut so many times before, where they just hint at it without telling you outright that CM Punk's coming, or all these other names that they've hinted at but just did not outright say we're coming, the surprises. Surprises is the preferred AEW form of debut. They don't do like in 3 weeks, Mercedes Moné will appear on AEW Dynamite. They don't do the countdown clock shit. So because of this one line and because they aired it, I think they did set some expectations that it would be Mercedes Moné in this match. Now they went and they said that Toni Storm was the partner. They filled the slot, but would you have been shocked if the angle was instead Hikaru Shida outright turning heel, beating down Toni Storm backstage? We don't know who Soraya's partner is going to be. Surprise, it's Mercedes Moné. Like, I actually thought that was a very possible thing that could have happened this past Wednesday. And cutting the lights off right after the match, granted with Excalibur, most of the TV audio being Excalibur running down cards, I think that was also a mistake that really set up people to expect Mercedes to come out, and instead they did the run through for Rampage. I don't think it's going to cause any kind of real lasting damage to the company, but this was a goof. They goofed up, and that was, to me, a mistake, minor, but a mistake.
I'm going to counter. I don't care.
That's fair.
And the reason why I don't care is, in segment 3 on January 4th, Britt Baker drops the boss line. Okay. Now, obviously, she's planting a seed. Literally, less than an hour later, Saraya names Toni Storm her tag team partner.
Yeah.
Now, this to me tells me 2 things. One, they thought they might have had a deal in place to get her, but then I think that they realized quickly that they didn't. But they also, my guess is they have a deal for her to come in at some point. I believe the Bushiroad contract is her first match back in the United States outside of WWE is going to be the Battle in the Valley in San Jose on February 18th. And I think the way that contract is structured, they don't want her wrestling before then. That is my guess. And well, why would they? They got to sign her first because
exactly
the way the contract was done with WWE is she
could negotiate with New Japan. Yeah.
She can negotiate with New Japan and Bushiroad, but she cannot negotiate elsewhere. Well, if you debut her on the 11th, that kind of raises some red flags, yada, yada, bing, bang. Plus, Bushiroad's going to want that first match. Yes. They're paying her an exorbitant amount of money, something they've never done with a female talent before. Obviously, Bushiroad is relatively new to women's wrestling, having just bought Stardom within the past few years. But it's very noteworthy that they're paying Mercedes Moné this kind of money. 2, they literally told you in the same show that she wasn't coming. Like, I think we're extrapolating too much. Well, now you mentioned the CM Punk stuff. They announced the first dance, and then later on in the show, Darby Allin lays all those little hints.
Oh yeah,
that he's coming. But they announced the show and then did it. I think it's a completely different situation. I think they still think Monet is coming. It's a one-time thing, and they literally covered it up later. So I think we're overreacting to one little line, at least at this point.
Here's why. It's the circumstances that make a mistake. If this past week they were in Topeka and there wasn't a mystery partner match, none of this would have mattered. But the fact that they did the hint, that they dropped the Sasha Banks line a week before a show with a mystery partner, and yes, it was filled, but we've also, wrestling is littered with examples of partners being announced and then some angle happening. And then it being in Los Angeles. This wasn't Lexington, Kentucky. This wasn't Charleston, West Virginia. this wasn't Roanoke, Virginia, as I go through second tier towns in my head. Ann Arbor, Michigan. It wasn't these places. It's just the fact, the circumstances of it being a major market, like a super duper big market near where Mercedes would likely be hanging out or even living these days, with the hint and the mystery partner slot. I think it was just a little too cute for their own good. Again, I don't think it caused any real damage to AEW. It's not like we're going to see their ratings drop off by a quarter next week or anything. But it just was not. It wasn't the best idea, and they could have handled it better. And I don't think that they're going to there's going to be tons of Sasha stans who are going to angrily renounce AEW and never tune in again. But I just think it was a little too cute for their own good.
Yeah, but the Sasha stans hated AEW before.
Now they'll like it because she's coming in.
Yeah. Well, but that's my thing. Like, I don't think angering the Sasha stans is really a big issue because they hated AEW already. The second she steps into this company, they're going to be all aboard the AEW train. And as long as she's treated well with the booking, we're not going to have any issues. I just think we're overreacting to 2 words when they corrected it within the same show, telling you that the direction wasn't going to be Mercedes Moné for the January 11th tag match in LA. We're over extrapolating here. Now, if they continue to lay any other hints and she never shows,
well, that's a different matter. I'm just saying for this 1 week, it was a mistake. If she had done that promo this coming week, would have been fine. If they had not had some mystery partner match, would have been fine. If they weren't a week out from Los Angeles, would have been fine. But all those things together, I think, makes it just not the smartest idea they had.
It could have been done better. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Shit? No.
Well, that's a different matter.
The reason that they had it is because they thought they had her in. And from my perspective, they thought they had the deal in place, and they thought that they were going to be able to bring her in. The second they weren't, they announced the mystery partner. They didn't lead any speculation to Monet until January 4th, and then on January 4th they still corrected it. Like I just think it's we're trying to make excuses, and we're trying to place blame. I just don't think there's anything there.
We're going in circles on this one. So you want to move on to Rampage?